afternoon, everybody. Coming to you live from Alamogordo, New Mexico. We're headed on a road trip to the Valley of Fires Park to check out an old lava flow. We spent the morning and early afternoon at the Space Museum here in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and it was amazing. We had a cool planetarium show and 4 floors of exhibits that we got to check out. It's called the New Mexico Museum of Space History, in case anybody wants to check it out. The prices are very reasonable. You get to see a lot. Everything from missions all the way to rockets, engines, different fuel stuff, actual parts from missions, which was really cool. I'm trying to recall some of the parts that we saw. Bits of engines, was that a fuel cell capacitor, an oxygen backpack that the astronauts would wear when doing moonwalks that have like their breathing apparatus.
And some gyroscopes.
Yep, gyroscopes.
I like that they had the fuel cell, one of the Apollo fuel cells on display. It was a spare, it wasn't one that went into space, but it was the real deal. Still trying to make fuel cell technology practical.
They even had a moon rock, which was really cool.
That was one of my favorites. It was a big moon rock too. It must have been a couple of ounces. I'm used to seeing these little slivers and specks.
Yeah.
This was a piece of the really big rock that they had found during Apollo 17, which I believe turned out to be the oldest rock they discovered on the moon.
Yeah, it was really neat.
They described it as probably the oldest thing you'll ever see. But there was a lot of other stuff. It was just...
The original sample for the rock weighed 7, according to the display description. 215,93 parentheses 008 parentheses. Jack Schmidt, Harrison Jack Schmidt, collected it in December of 1972. So largest rock that the Apollo 17 crew. Its fine-grained nature of 70215 suggests that it could have cooled quickly, probably near the surface of basalt flows about 3.7 billion years ago. Although fairly young by lunar standards, it is the oldest thing many people will ever see. Like you said, it was decent sized. Definitely the biggest moon rock I've ever seen, because like you said, when we've seen them, it's usually just slivers. Like when we had the celebratory 50th anniversary for the lunar landing at Da Vinci in Allentown, Pennsylvania, there was only slivers of moon rock that were on loan for the event. I did like the launch off simulator, where you could stand on it and feel like what a launch would feel like shaking. If you were watching the rocket launch, how much the ground would shake. That was kind of cool. They also had ones where you could hear the different launch, like how loud it was. So it was kind of interesting. I really like where they have the old footage from the different missions on that TV that they were playing. Because we had to take a break for the planetarium show, so we came back, and so we caught a little bit more. Heart of the Desert Vineyard, from vine to wine. It is a vineyard. Wow. They must have irrigation for it. Unless there's a different type of grape that doesn't mind the dryness.
on display indoors and some big ones outside.
Yeah, that was neat.
One of the component engines to the Saturn V rocket was on display out there. I believe they used 5 of those in the base.
Yeah, that's what it said on the description.
Hence the name Saturn V. But they had one of the engines. Maybe it was a spare, I don't know, but it was on display.
I was just surprised how big it is when you're there in person. Like, you realize they're big, but like you don't really have that scale until you see it in person like that. Oh, look at the rocks. That was cool. There was like trenches. With like water trenches from erosion.
We're heading northerly right now, away from Alamogordo. White sand stretches out before us on the left.
We could actually see that from the museum. We could see white sands in the distance.
And we got some pretty big mountains to our right, which we came over the other day.
Yes.
Well, I guess it was yesterday.
It was a long yesterday.
Every day seems like it's a long day.
Yeah. Well, yesterday we went hiking in elevation of 8,500 feet, so we were both pretty tired when we got back. We finally got settled into our home.
Yeah, it just escapes me now the name of the mountain range where Cloudcroft is located. Do you remember?
Sacramento. I think it's Sacramento Mountains. Right?
You might be right, yeah.
I think it was Sacramento.
And then west of White Sands, I think there's San Andreas Mountains.
That one I'm not 100% sure on.
Now you're going to get over.
Got to see some healthier looking cacti.
Oh yeah.
Which was cool.
That was at the University of Mexico's campus there, near the Space Museum.
Yeah, it's the State University. It's really cool. The Alamogordo campus.
Right, the State University.
The lander simulator that you could do. We could land on the moon. That was neat. Some kids are having a lot of fun on that. When they were down, I got to try it. It was really cool. Here comes an EMS. They had some spacesuits that kids could try on, and even had some for adults, so I got to do that, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you had fun with that.
I've always wondered what it would be like to wear a spacesuit.
Hot.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very warm. I can see why they have the cooling in them. If you start doing anything in them, you just start sweating. I can see that happening real fast. You add in all the weight that they're carrying, like the 70-pound backpack if they're EVAing. I know it weighs less on the moon.
Well, I think what you were wearing was more like a flight jacket, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of like the ones you see them posing in photos before they put the real one on. Because they didn't have like all the holes and stuff for the tubes. So yeah, flight jacket would be a better description. But it was still neat. They had some personal items from the different astronauts that have flown on missions, so that was kind of cool to see. They had different tools. Welcome to Telerosa.
So we're 54 and 70 split.
It was interesting seeing how the space food has changed over time. Because they had a display about that too. Roasted green chilies. Oh, that's a cute little mural for Welcome to Town. Whoa, you see that manhole?
Yeah.
That was a rough one. Like you said, I don't know why we can't make them level with the road, but yikes. Oh, someone built a Trump wall. They had a wall and they painted Trump on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just the name. It's interesting. Oh, potteries. A local pottery store. That looked really cool. Hand-painted pottery.
Carazozo, this way.
That's where we're going.
Out into the wilderness.
It's a dead gas station.
Looks like there's plenty of other cars. So we're not alone.
I'm sure some of it is post-eclipse traffic because we ran into quite a few people yesterday doing similar things like we were.
I wonder. It's 45 miles to Carazozo. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. It'd be very unusual to get it right. It's an unusual word to begin with. I don't know of any other place with that name.
I don't either.
The missile range is still on our left. It goes pretty far north. Another thing that's off to our left, a little bit further north of here, is the site where they detonated the first test nuclear bomb. The Trinity site, which is apparently only open to the public 2 days a year.
Well, actually, it's 3. They're actually doing a special bus tour on October 21st.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah.
It's expensive though, isn't it?
It's a lot of money. But otherwise, it's usually only twice a year.
But a lot of our rocket and missile technology was tested out here.
They had some samples of the rocks when it turned into that, I forget the name that they called it, but they had samples of what it looks like.
got some irrigated crops on the left. They use these circular irrigation devices. So from the air, they look like circles. Here's a field that looks like they were using the old-fashioned straight kind.
Yeah, with the wagon type wheels. We got the railroad here on our right. Look at that mountain with the different outcropping colors on our right. So they're doing an October 21st open house due to the movie release of Oppenheimer in July. So apparently that's one of the reasons why they're doing another one. If you're not one of the first 5,000 visitors, you may not get through the gate prior to the closure at 2 p.m. After this, the next date is April 6, 2024. Looks like there might be some more irrigated trees up here. Kind of a fruit tree, maybe?
Yeah, I would guess so. Yesterday that the railroad, they really dug up the dirt and just kind of put it on the sides, but I'm not sure what that is. Almost looks like an old road. Yeah, it could be this road.
Mountains are just amazing to see on both sides, and all the flat terrain in between.
Yeah, that's all military off to the left. It's a restricted area.
Is that all part of the military base?
I believe. Well, it's all part of the White Sands
area
testing area. I don't know what the proper name of it is now, but I think that property goes pretty far north.
Oh, wow. It looks pretty big on the map that they had in the museum.
So I think some of the lava flow is within their jurisdiction. It looks hazy off to the left. I don't know if it's the white sand. If there's still white sand up that way or not. I know you definitely can see it when you're in Alamogordo and you gain some elevation. You can see how white it is.
It was really reflecting. It almost looked like snow.
Yeah.
From the viewpoint vantage we had from the museum.
We might not be high enough here to tell.
Yeah, I can't see it here. One of the highlights of the museum was seeing the footage of them walking on the moon, doing the different testing and the rover.
Yeah, it was some kind of program. It was showing footage of Apollo 17.
It's really neat.
You really haven't seen that sort of thing.
Just in school, but I haven't seen it anywhere else either. I'm not sure how you would find that type of footage.
I don't know. Maybe it's on NASA's website. I know I found audio recordings, so maybe they also have the video. Guardrail damage.
Yikes.
You wonder how that happens out here.
It must have been going way too fast. Or they were intoxicated.
Fell asleep?
Well, I guess that's always a possibility. I was kind of surprised how many marijuana stores there were in Alamogordo while we were looking for dinner last night. It's the only thing that has bars on in town.
Crossing a dry wash?
Yeah, the railroad's got a bridge on it for the dry wash. Pretty high to keep it level.
When you get the heavy rains, you got all that rain coming down off the mountains into this valley. I believe that's how the white sands were created. It was the rock material for the mountains washing down into the valley and then the water evaporating.
Oh, really?
I believe so. White sands is created from erosion.
I don't know much about it, other than the sand is white.
Yeah.
And it's very famous for the missile testing and, the other testing that they've done. The military base.
There's looks to me like the start of another mountain range in between us and the further mountains.
I see that too. Yeah.
I think these might. This could be the Obscura Mountains. We're getting closer to the Trinity site, which is up, I think, somewhere beyond those mountains, a little bit west of them. Carrizozo is only 34 miles now.
We're going to be entering the town of Three Rivers shortly. So all along on our left is the White Sands Missile Range. It goes all the way up to U.S. Route 380.
Does it go to 380?
Yep.
That's the road that we cross. We'll actually turn onto 380 when we get to Carrizozo.
I was trying to see if I could figure out the mountain range.
Yeah, I think it's on the New Mexico state map that I saw it.
Yeah, I don't have that out right now.
If you want, I can get it for you.
It's okay.
You just got to climb out the window and across the hood, across the roof rather, and open up the trunk.
You must have really long arms.
You've seen the movies where they're clinging to the top of the boxcars on a moving train,
Oh, yeah.
jumping train to train.
Yeah, I don't think I'd recommend that. If you want to, we could stop up in Three Rivers if there's a easy on or off pull over. Because the shoulder here has bits of plant, as you can see, and some other debris. I met a lady today who told me that it's elk mating season, so you can actually hear, I forget how she described it, it was very interesting, but basically apparently the elk hoot and holler during the night to try to find their mates during mating season. She says to watch out with driving because they just run into the road without a care in the world. She says sometimes they're worse than the deer.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. It was really interesting.
That looks like a trestle bridge coming up on the railroad.
It is. Wow. They made it all fancy. Because all the other ones, they didn't make them like that. They were just trestles that were just in the ground. That's really cool.
Definitely a creek bed.
Couldn't tell if there was water though. The concrete was kind of high.
Yeah, it was.
Petroglyph Campground to the right.
That's
Three
pretty
Rivers
wide right here.
Antiques.
I can go get the map.
Okay, sounds good.
Always good to have a wider place to pull off.
Yeah, this shoulder just looked a little narrow earlier. If you're just joining us now, we're going from Alamogordo to the old lava flows, just west of Carrizo, if I can pronounce that. Something my dad wanted me to visit, so we're gonna check it out. Thanks for the map.
Yeah. And they didn't run me over.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were kind of zooming by. At least it feels that way when you're not moving.
Oh yeah, they were moving.
I know, but we aren't moving, so like the higher speed limits when you're not moving, it's just like, yikes.
That's another thing that I've noticed before, that when you're out here and it doesn't seem like there's much traffic behind you, you stop and all of a sudden
There's cars.
yeah.
Yeah. This view is amazing. Except for the object and road. Hello, William. Good to see you. William says, way to San Antonio, New Mexico.
New Mexico.
That's what he wrote. I thought San Antonio was Texas.
Well, there might be one in New Mexico.
There is. Wow, I learned something new. Yeah, 380 goes to San Antonio, New Mexico, which is just south of Socorro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be getting onto Route 380 for a little bit.
Yeah, he says US 380 West and I-25 North. Yep. I see that. I just got my map out of the trunk, so I'm looking at. We're headed to the.
Probably at least 50 miles east of Socorro. But it's along Route 380.
Yeah, it looks like it might be.
It's a lonely stretch of road between there and Socorro.
Looks like it might be 65 miles to San Antonio from Carrizozo, and then maybe 10 miles up to Socorro. It's another beautiful day. A little warmer though.
Mexico. I don't know if we can get a glimpse from Route 54 or if we'll have to wait till we turn onto 380 to see it.
I'm not sure.
I know the map shows the extent of it, so we may not be north enough yet.
Oh, maybe that's what I was seeing instead of the mountain ranges. Maybe that's the lava flow.
It's like dots on the
Yeah,
on the map.
I thought that was the mountain because they called the Mount Peas. But I guess that's the lava flow.
Is that the actual lava flow?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I got confused. But there are multiple mountains labeled here. The higher res map is on our computer. High res, so we had to lower the res, so it's a little blurry.
New Mexico has a really great high resolution map that our old iPad just can't handle.
I was hoping to get a paper map, but I haven't seen any at any places we visited so far. I guess most people don't use them anymore. William says, stop and get gas, Carrizo, New Mexico. Oh, do they have cheap gas there? Carrizozo, sorry.
We're noticing what they call regular gas is different here. Everywhere to the east it's been 87 octane gas, but here it's 86.
Yeah, I asked the lady yesterday when we got gas, and she said that's normal, that's what their cars run on. So apparently they're used to the 86. Thought that was interesting. I was trying to remember. Have you visited the Valley Fires before?
Yeah, I was there once.
That's what I thought.
Long ago, very briefly. I think I did the short trail that exists. I don't know what it's like today. It was pretty undeveloped at the time. I think you could camp back then.
Yeah, it looks like they have a campground there.
I just kind of remember they had a couple of picnic tables. You could park at them.
Oh wow, that's a huge railroad reinforced crossing there for the water. It's like a arched concrete bridge. They also had a netting on it. It looked some kind of fence or netting. I don't know if that's to catch rocks so they don't go through it, like eroding down the hill. It seemed kind of weird. We've heard a lot of trains in Alamogordo. I've lost count how many we've heard. It's a very busy rail line, apparently.
Interesting rock formation to our left.
Yeah, I saw that in the distance. It looked really cool. Look at these railroad bridges. That one doesn't have the netting or fencing on it like the others did. It's interesting. Oh wow. It's like stepping stones from that first bridge for the railroad to our bridge.
Getting to see the open country.
It's beautiful.
Oscura bombing range.
all the points of interest on it. I think that was on there.
The bombing range.
Yeah.
We're coming up on the foothills of the mountains to our right.
Looks amazing.
Here comes a train.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm gonna wind the window down a little bit so we can hear it.
I wondered if we'd encounter one.
We've heard plenty this morning and last night.